Almost every solarballs arc explained in one video. The first arc I will explain is the Surviving Venus arc. As we all know, surviving Venus is one of the hardest things to do as an astronomer. Due to Venus's extreme high heat and super thick atmosphere, there's no way going back up to space if it's like crashed into and very low on fuel, and when you try to go back, you cannot. Because Venus crashed into Astro Dude after he was exposed for being called a Roman goddess of beauty, he was just acting like a maid until Mercury interrupts and yaps about it. Then he got angry at Astro Dude and charged directly into him. Astro Dude then ends up going onto Venus's surface and struggles to find a way to escape. On the first attempt, Astro Dude did at least try to escape, but eventually had a system failure shut down and the ship crashed into Venus's surface. Luckily, Astro Dude survived the crash in time, since Rotsar called. And yes, I meant Mr. Houston is what I mean. He got a suit upgrade and eventually went outside to Venus to find a way to repair his ship. A long while after, he got chased by the Russian bots and they were saying, "Join us in Russia." Mars, Venus, and Earth saw that asteroid was alive, so they started collecting asteroid pieces from the asteroid belt to attack the Panera robots on Venus's surface. After that asteroid shower thing has happened, Asteroid thought he had a decision of giving up, but he did not give up yet. His computer has the decision that he should use the robots to repair his ship, and he successfully escaped Venus. After Astro Dude escaped, Venus was being picked on again. The second arc I will be explaining about is the story of Titan, one of Saturn's moons. The video starts when Saturn was on purposely getting his moon's names wrong since he's still learning them. But the only moon's name he knows right now is Titan's, and a lot of the moons think that Titan is like Saturn's favorite moon or something. They argued and after Saturn was talking about his rings being made out of dead moons, a lot of moons were like being really serious and they were mad about it. They left and get back to Saturn, and Titan eventually looked at Earth again and really wants to speak to him. Catches Luna's attention by acting like Screech from North and doing a psst sound, and then conversating to him, and then he really wants to talk to the Earth, so they did, and then Mars started spitting out facts about Titan. Then Earth was really mad about it and said, "Dare I say, moons should know their place," as both Lunar and Titan were very offended about that. He left and ended up going to the asteroid belt, which is like a really lonely place to be into. Then he noticed Astro Dude and spoke to him on to finding a life on his surface. Astro Dude forcefully agreed and went into Titan's underground ocean just to find a singular celled organism onto his own place. Then when Luna noticed Luna asked Titan that he should leave or things should be really consequential. So Astro Dude was then spitted out and then, you guessed it, got out of Titan and yapped about that Titan has life. The next arc I will be explaining about is when Jupiter and his moons came back to life. Wait, his? Isn't it supposed to be it? Because. Oh, wait, it's not supposed to be that because. Okay, I know they have genders because of the eyelashes and the voice attitude, but. Okay, I'm just gonna yell about that later. When Titan went missing, Ganymede, Europa, Callisto, and Io went to find Titan and see what to discuss. Callisto and Io ended up getting founded by Luna. Or did Io found Luna? But somehow Ceres came up and interrupted, and they had to deal with Ceres for a long time. Ganymede and Europa has already found Titan, and Titan thinks that moons should be treated better than the planets. Titan wanted to protest against every planet in existence, but Ganymede had the idea to destroy the Earth. After that fight with Ceres, Callisto, Io, and Luna came up, and then Luna tried to falsely escape the solar system into deceiving the moons that he left. But in reality, Luna never left the solar system. He wanted to Earth to change who he is. Callisto and Io then went back to Ganymede, and they said they accidentally unalived Luna. They were like really shocked about it, but it was somehow a lie. Then Ganymede said to summon that attack by arriving every moon from every planet to summon a protest, or should I say, war. Another arc I will be explaining about is the Earth arc. Oh my god, thumbnail so cute. Anyways, the Earth arc started when Earth offended Titan and Luna. Then they got very mad. Titan left, and Mars stopped being friends with Earth, and Luna just went to Titan. Then Earth went up to Venus and acting like he was his Earth's new friend. And then when Venus yapped about having life back in the day, Earth thought it was fake, and then Venus slightly agreed that it was fake, but he was like very mad about it and was actually being serious. Mars and Venus ended up having a fight due to like an argument ever since Venus and Earth were trying to play like fake asteroid dodgeball or something. Then they had the rounds of asteroid dodgeball, who was close to life, and Earth has no idea what it would be. And then Mars just snapped at Earth and saying that. Actually, I don't remember what he said, but I know he was done with Earth, and Venus was also done with Earth, which means it was the start when Earth was being completely alone. He started seeing hallucinations of whatever the heck, and then his Earthlings were like getting in trouble. And then when Luna came up to Earth, Earth was having trauma. Mercury came up, and Earth said the most worstest thing of them all. Earthlings deserve to go extinct. Now that's really bad, you know. It's really bad, you know. They wanted a way to make Earth feel better, but Earth wanted to end it all by going directly into the sun. Then Luna and Mercury tried to stop Earth, and then Earth stopped and thinking that it has nothing to do about that. But then Earth realizes that he can be forgiven, and then moved on. after Luna and Mercury had to deal with that, they had to like teach Earth to change his ways to prepare for like the moon revolution or something. Another arc I will be explaining about is the story of Pluto. A lot of us know that Pluto is like a character with very least amount of screen time, and I honestly think he deserves more screen time because of the 2006 incident where Pluto became the dwarf planet since the Earthlings have decided it. Pluto went to find some other dwarf planets to hang out with. Then Sharon found Pluto, and they both went to find dwarf planets. After Pluto found Makemake, he did not know that Pluto was a planet. Then to Haumea, which at first looked scary, but Haumea is actually cute behind that whatever he just did. And then Eris came to expose Pluto for being a fake planet. Then they were all fine with it. They didn't care. Then they played Dungeons and Dwarf Planets, which is a reference to Dungeons and Dragons. If you do not know, I mean, a lot of us know Dungeons and Dragons, but okay. And then Neptune was acting like Pluto's therapist. Yada yada yada. Not like from Danny's World, okay. And then Pluto went back to the dwarf planets, and they were continuing the game. The next, and one of the longest arcs of them all, the Moon Revolution arc. Now, the Moon Revolution has like a lot to explain about, so I'm not gonna explain every episode to like waste time. So I would say that the Moon Revolution is like a world war, since Callisto, Io, Titan, and Luna were defending Earth about it. They were trying to end Earth's life, and for some reason, I'm surprised Earth did not get his surface code. I'm surprised about that. Then, luckily, Triton bought up for Pluto to like change everything, and then Ganymede was forced to give up, and things went back than it used to. But when at the ending of the Moon Revolution arc, Ganymede did say, "Yeah, over." Which I think that either Ganymede is planning a new villain arc, or he just doubts that ended. The third arc I will talk about is the Terraform Mars arc. This arc is just about Astro Dude just hanging out with his business in Mars, but he nearly got unalived in that situation since his boss was stupid. But luckily, they sent a robot named Sar, and Sar has cured Astro Dude. But eventually, Sar put Astro Dude to sleep by feeding him something that contains sleeping stuff. Then once Astro Dude was asleep, Sar tried to like get the other bots in Mars. Then they went off to, conquer Mars. Then Astro was eventually forced to terraform Mars. Mars and Earth were like conversing about it at first. Mars did not want it, and Earth did ask. But at the end, Sar took over the boss that tried to terraform Mars, and Mars just ended up not terraforming and not having life. because they think that it can wait for a little longer, I think. But moving on, we have another arc that is considered to be the solar system if it was alive. Now, it looks more like it focuses more on the solar system being changed onto orbits and moving their places by size from the smallest to biggest. Now, if orbits were swapped, Earth would either freeze or overburn. So, the asteroid and Kuiper belt might be unstable, and even if it affected a moon's orbit, that could have like the same occurrence. Because Mercury moved out of his orbit, the sun notices and decided to call every planet in his own solar system. He said that he wants to make a change in the solar system by changing their orbits by size, but they know it's somewhat bad, but some of them most likely didn't care because of how much that would change. Sooner, the sun was confronted by his own planets and had like a bit of a chat. But luckily, they made a fix and went back to their usual ways. Another arc I will explain about is the search for the most alien planet. Now, I believe that this most likely takes place during the moon revolution somehow. But it's when Astrodu has already investigated Titan and hoarded the small base organism, but somehow ended up crashing into the Earth and was scared by alien-looking sea creatures inside of Earth's ocean. Astrodu then realizes that he was on the planet that almost everyone has lived on. Now, because of that, Astrodude was eventually swallowed by a whale and then forcefully makes it spit him out. Then Astrodude ended on a deserted island to go back into space. He did ended up going back to space, but he eventually crashed into the dark side of the moon. Another arc I will be talking about is all the moons of the solar system. Now, this arc doesn't really explain all the moons in the solar system, but it shows every moon in the solar system being into a club after the moon revolution has happened. Then they conversate about their personal feelings and insecurities and try to make planets understand by making plans, deals, having fun, whatever. Now, the Moon Club was pretty much Titan's idea. He decided to call every moon from every other planet by assisting Luna, Phomos, and Deimos to get like the other moons from the other bigger planets, and they did conversate a little bit, but a lot of them are like kids and they just wanted to play. So they did, but they didn't really plan to. Yeah, so they played, but then Ganymede and Europa came. Titan was like very disappointed, and Ganymede and Europa left because they argued. But the other moons were not fine by it because they think it was really unfair to them. So Luna brought over Ganymede and Europa back to the Moon Club to talk about more insecurities. And it did make like a bit of a change until Ganymede said that they should go to the sun, and they had the plan to go to the sun. So next, and one of the most longest arcs of solar balls is the Planet X arc. Oh, this is gonna be good. This all started when back in the past, Jupiter and Saturn kicked out Planet X on accident, and the sun thinks that Planet X abandoned him all because of Jupiter's deceitful lies. The sun was like very mad that Planet X left, and Jupiter and Saturn had a job to do, and since Jupiter has like, you know, unalived rocky planets, and he decided to like protect and started caring for these rocky planets. Back to the present, Jupiter was like feeling a little paranoid and thinking that Planet X could be somewhere in the Kuiper Belt. He ended up getting lost in the Kuiper Belt and went unconscious. Jupiter's moons then tried to find him, and yeah, he was found. So they went back to Jupiter's orbit, and Planet X was like looking directly at his non existent soul. After the Moon Club session has ended, Titan and Luna moved to the sun to talk about the moons being treated bad and the planets being treated way better, and they ended up getting to like a lawsuit. After the solar system trials, Ganymede and Europa were kicked out of the solar system, forcing them to leave. But in the Kuiper Belt, they eventually ended up getting to the dwarf planets, and Maki Maki tells them about a mysterious planet named Planet X. So Ganymede and Europa would find Planet X anyways, and they did. They had a decision to get Planet X back into the solar system by telling the sun what actually happened back 4.5 billion years ago. Then when the sun noticed, he did try to defend his own solar system, but failed since Jupiter defended Planet X. But Planet X did not forgive him and went to tell the sun the truth anyway. After they told the real thing, Jupiter was forced to leave, and Planet X has taken over his orbit. Ganymede and Europa is back into the solar system, but for some reason they want Jupiter back because the asteroid belt was a little unstable. Titan, Luna, Io, Callisto, Ganymede, and Europa went to find Jupiter, but since he is like in the Oort cloud now, they can like barely find him. But thanks to the help of Neptune, they found Jupiter, and they did conversate that they wanted him back. Jupiter thought that he was hallucinating, and he eventually decided like go further, and the moons decided to confront Planet X. They ended up doing a deal and first they had a race, then trivia, and then the asteroid dodgeball game. Planet X did apparently win, but Proteus stopped him from winning, and Planet X cried and left the solar system. He went to Jupiter to conversate and actually spoke to him that time. So they did have a conversation, but Planet X a little bit disagreed with at the first few parts, but when Jupiter told him his job, he decided to leave and went go to another solar system. Another arc that I will be explaining about is the Big Bang arc. Now, in my opinion, I think that the Big Bang arc was like my least favorite arc of the other arcs. I just think that it needs a little more details and more explanation, but I'm gonna say that it's a little fine. It wasn't really that good, but alright. But anyways, it starts when Astro Dude shared the stories to his son, like a bedtime story, and then he talks about the past of the solar system, about that. I already explained it in the part where I explained the Planet X arc, but okay. So, so yeah, I don't really have much to, you know, yap about. But still, we need. I still need to explain about the life and death of Thea. Now, this arc basically explains Thea's lifetime before she crashed into the Earth, or should I say, Proto Earth. In the middle of introducing themselves, Thea was interrupted by Proto Earth, thinking that it was not nice of him and was said to apologize to her somehow. Then Thea has like the idea of obtaining slash getting life. Then they met some mysterious creature named Ceres, and they do not know who Ceres was. So they were told about it, and yet they still have the plans to get life. And while the sun was not looking, they did something that was not family friendly, and they did whatever they did. The arc I will explain right here, and the last arc I will explain, but also something that I think that is longer than the Planet X arc is the Earth's Origins arc. So after Jupiter had like came back into the solar system, when Earth heard Thea's name, he Earth went to Jupiter as Jupiter went to Uranus, since Uranus left the solar system, and Earth kept going and going, risking him into a ice age from Timu. Ceres did try to like attack Earth, but luckily Sharon, Pluto, and Luna were defending the Earth to like prevent them from getting hit from asteroids, but they did hit by a little bit of asteroids, by the way. So Jupiter went to Uranus to like conversate about something, but Uranus refused, and Jupiter shouts no at him aggressively, and they were still going on to a conversation. Uranus ended up still leaving the solar system. Then they thought he saw Planet X, but it was actually Neptune. Neptune actually called him Kalis that time, since he thinks that he became Kalis, but Uranus asks him why he was acting like that, and Neptune just gave him the disappointed eyes face. Then Uranus stopped caring about his new name and decided to keep the funny name instead. Earth was still seeing hallucinations inside of his own mind and met his past self with Thea. They ended up telling a story, and after the story, since I already explained it, things went weird, and Earth had to like forcefully wake up since his core was being nuked and all that. Earth woke up, and then the planets and his own moon were very glad and really worried about that he would be in death, and he somehow survived. Venus then cleared the path of asteroids in the way, and then Jupiter requested Earth to yeet him back all the way back to his orbit and whatever. Then he was yeeted. Now, I do have a little bit of a prediction for what's next. First prediction has that I think that's something that has to do about Sar and the other robots. I think they will conquer the entire space reality by itself. Then before the moons were removed from their orbits ever since the 3 new episodes came out. Either the new planets will become moons again, or the sun will not forget the other planets and force them to go to another solar system. And there's this image which I think Planet X will most likely go to the closest system, which is the Proxima Centauri system. And then this, which I think Rotsar is planning to destroy the Earth's core or something, or using it to as a power source.